Welcome aboard to this week's cruise chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel. Today I'm going to be talking to Cathy, and Cathy is from Atlas Ocean Voyages. And I'm very excited to meet with her because this is the very first time that I'm going to be meeting with Cathy. So that means we're going to be doing a wonderful brand overview, and I can't wait for you guys to see these ships. They are a brand new cruise line. They are just amazing, and that brand overview, mwah, I can't wait to show you. So we're going to go right over to the episode right now. See you on the other side. Everybody, and welcome to this week's cruise chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel, and today I'm joined by Cathy. And as you can see, Cathy is from Atlas Ocean Voyages. This is the first time I've had the absolute privilege to meet with you. I'm very excited to learn about Atlas. I don't really know very much about the brand, and I'm interested in learning along with all of my subscribers. So normally at this point, I would refer you guys back to the playlist because always the first video when I meet with you guys, it's going to be a brand overview. But you're here. This is the brand overview. So here we go. I'm just going to turn it over to you then, Cathy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I was really excited to be able to kind of share with you a little bit about Atlas Ocean Voyages. And, it's a fairly new brand, so it's not unusual that people don't know a ton about us, although there is a buzz in the industry these days.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
I'm sure that you probably heard a lot about expedition cruising lately.
Mhm.
That seems to be the trend.
It's great.
So we came along right at the right time. We actually started our company right in the middle of a global pandemic, which is not always the best time to start up a new cruise line. But so far we've come quite a long way and have some really exciting things that I can share with you about what we do, where we go, and a little bit about Atlas. So
Oh, I'm
um,
excited.
yeah, and I think what is my favorite part about it, and I've been in the industry or the cruise industry for over 25 years, and I think my favorite part about kind of seeing this new project from start to finish to fruition was the excitement that people feel when they talk about going to unique destinations like Antarctica and the
Mhm.
Arctic, but being able to do it at the same time, an expedition adventurous experience, but also in a nice upscale setting. So they can be pampered as
Mhm.
well as really have kind of that more adventurous experience by actually going out and seeing new things, which is really
Yeah.
awesome, and
Yeah. See, I
having
love
some
Expedition for that because when I travel, I want to see where I'm going. I want to get immersed in the local
for
culture,
sure.
customs, whatever. And expedition cruising really, to me, brings you to the heart of the area. And it's just one of my
Absolutely.
favorite ways to cruise, and I think it's going to be great to learn along with all of my subscribers here. So, yay.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we call ourselves Intimate Yachting Expeditions, and we have year-round expeditions that we focus on. And I'll get a little bit into that and explain what that means here. About half the year, from November to March, we sail in Antarctica.
Mhm.
Our ships are purpose built for Antarctica cruising, expedition cruising in the polar regions. We also visit the Arctic in the summertime as well for a few months. And in between, we go to other exotic destinations. We go into the Mediterranean, we do South America, we're going
Yeah.
to touch in the Caribbean. We don't spend a lot of time there, but we do have, in our transitional cruises, we have
Mhm.
transoceanic cruises as well. But we've really tried to take a different approach. We've noticed that when people go places like a bucket list destination like Antarctica,
Yeah.
we've noticed that the camaraderie on board and the experience that people have, there's something about that bond that brings people together when they've experienced seeing, penguins up close and personal, or elephant seals, or this amazing landscape in front of them. And they come back on board the ship and they get so excited and share pictures and share stories. When you're in the Zodiac with an expedition team leader, people get really excited. And so we find that camaraderie on board is amazing and really what makes the cruise. That and being immersed and learning about the wildlife and the geology and the marine biology of the
Mhm.
different destinations that you're visiting. So we really wanted to try and replicate that for all destinations that we visit, which is why we're focused on year-round expeditions no matter
Mhm.
where we go.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah. And I agree
yeah.
with you. I mean, you're excited about seeing these things. And when you're excited, you're bubbly and you talk and you share and you
Oh,
laugh.
for sure.
And that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We want people to really have some amazing experiences, and having sailed on board in both the Arctic and Antarctica, as well as in the Med, and going to some unique destinations, I really have to say that we do an amazing job. I realize I'm biased, but we do an amazing job of really making people kind of understand the destinations that they're visiting, really
Hmm.
appreciating the world that we live in, but also, having an amazing vacation, and really just kind of wanting to plan and to come back, but all within a small kind of intimate setting. And I think that's important to a lot of people. Is we're definitely a small ship experience, and something that we really want to share with as many people as we can. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Atlas. We'll talk about our year-round expeditions and talk about where we sail. And then I think what's important too is to kind of point out our value proposition. I've got some really pretty pictures to show you of some interior shots so you can see what it's like on board our ships as well. So we actually currently have 3 ships in our fleet,
Hmm.
with 3 more coming soon. So we have World Navigator, which was launched in August of 2021,
Hmm.
followed by World Traveler, that was launched last November. And we have World Voyager that's joining us. Actually, she's just sailing out of the shipyard and joining us for our Antarctica season in Ushuaia, Argentina. So we'll have 3 ships in Antarctica starting this November, just
Oh,
a month away.
yay.
All identical sister ships, just under 10,000 tons, 98 staterooms on board, although we don't, for Antarctica, utilize all 98 staterooms, because we bring
Hmm.
on a bunch of expedition team members on board to make that experience even better. So less than 200 guests, usually in Antarctica, about 175 or so guests max.
Hmm.
So it's a really great intimate experience on board.
Oh, that
And then
would.
we have World Seeker that's in the shipyard at the moment. She'll be joining our fleet in 2025. And then we have World Adventure and World Discoverer coming. So they'll all be the same footprint.
Yeah.
All have a little bit of a different flair on board, different colors, different themes,
Hmm.
but all sister ships and all purpose built for expedition cruising, specifically in the polar regions, even though we will visit other destinations as well, which is
Oh, wow,
amazing.
that's great. And I love too that they're all sister ships. I know we were talking about that before we started
Yeah,
this episode, but I love that because you just feel like you're back at home, right? You know, when you
for
go on one and
sure.
then you go a year or two later, you're like, "Oh, I remember where that nice cafe was." Or, you know, you can find your way around
Exactly.
so much nicer and you just feel comfortable right away. And I
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think too, what's really nice about our ships as well, or our yachts, is that
Hmm.
they really, because of their small size, it's a very homey feel. It's beautiful, beautiful hardware, very upscale. We do fall in the luxury space, but it's a very relaxed luxury and comfort. But it almost feels like a river cruise, just kind of the layout of the ship itself, and how small it is and how easy it is to navigate.
Hmm.
You're always going to run into the same people on board as well. The crew get to know you, because it's such an intimate experience. And so I liken it a lot to somewhat of a river cruise, just because it's a similar type size on
Hmm.
board as well.
Amazing.
So we do base a lot of our expeditions around the polar region. So obviously Antarctica is our bread and butter, and where we kind of started, and where we will always have the majority of our ships from November to March.
Hmm.
But we do also visit the Arctic as well. Similar type experience in terms of the Zodiac expeditions that we do. We bring on expedition team members that guide us through very different wildlife, very different experience. The lay of the land is very different. Dressing and layering up is very similar in terms of what to wear, what to pack.
Right.
But again, 2 very different regions to visit. And those are at different times of the year. So Antarctica, again, November to March, and the Arctic is usually somewhere in between June and September. This coming season for 2024 for the Arctic, we're actually going to have 2 ships there, which is exciting. And then in between, we visit a bunch of different regions. We'll visit the Holy Land in Egypt, and Iceland, Greenland, the Med, Northern Europe. Of course, because we're making our way across, we have some transoceanic or transatlantic cruises, and
Hmm.
we also go up and down the coast of South America as well on the way, since all of our Antarctica cruises originate in Ushuaia, Argentina. So we have a lot of really cool itineraries there, and we do focus a little bit on Patagonia and the Falkland Islands too,
Oh,
coming up in
nice.
2024. So we always have some sort of really unique expedition type element, even in what we internally call warm water destinations, even
Right.
though warm is anything that's not polar for us, which isn't quite
Anything you
the
don't need
case.
4 layers for is warm,
Right.
right?
So we have
Goodness.
a lot of really unique places to sail, and we'll be announcing some new itineraries coming
Oh,
soon as
yay.
well, which will be a little more exotic, a little off the beaten
Mm.
path. We always try to kind of bookend our cruises with some more popular ports, but because our ships are so small, we're able to navigate and cruise and get into different areas that larger ships
Yeah.
can't visit, obviously.
Which is awesome. Because that,
Yeah,
like
for
I said, I want to go see the heart of the areas you're going, and the smaller ships can bring you to that. And I think that I
exactly.
love small
Yeah,
ship cruising. Yeah.
yeah,
Or
it's
yacht cruising
amazing.
as it is. Yep.
So we have really kind of tried to brand ourselves, kind of carve out our own niche for ourselves in the marketplace with year-round expeditions. And of course, I've talked a lot about polar expeditions because that's kind of where we started and what we know best. But we have also tried to, again, replicate that experience and that feeling that our guests have on board. I mean, we have people come back and say it's really life-changing. They've had such an amazing time on board, and it wasn't just the destination, that it was the interaction with our expedition team, the interaction with our crew, the interaction with other guests that really made the experience so special. And we
Hmm.
thought, oh, if we could just bottle that and take that with us everywhere that we go, wouldn't that be an awesome
Right.
experience for us? And
Yes.
so I think we've done pretty well with it. We introduced Epicurean expeditions
Mhm.
in April of
Mhm.
this year, and it has been wildly popular to the tune of 2024. We're booking like crazy
Oh,
because people have really kind of heard about it and seen
mhm.
things, and obviously people share a lot of their experiences.
Right.
But what we really did was obviously tried to find a way to kind of focus on that destination immersion, but also include points of interest that people really ask for. And so we came up with the Epicurean expedition idea because people who visit the Mediterranean in particular really tend to want to go there for food and wine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a big focus. So
Mhm.
what we've done is we've actually kind of taken off our polar expedition team, and we bring on our Epicurean team for those Mediterranean cruises. And
Awesome.
that is comprised of a guest chef or a gastronomic guest, or usually both,
Hmm.
visiting vintners in the area. And so we really theme all of those cruises around the local destination. We do some really cool things on board. Obviously, we do food and wine tastings on board. We also have what we call a yachtsman's cook-off, where we have our guest chef that will kind of moderate, and we'll have guests that get involved, and they're given cooking challenges, and it's a big
Oh,
public event, and we have
yeah.
people really get into it and have an amazing time. And it's all in good fun as well. People have an
Hmm.
awesome experience. We
That would
also
be fun.
include,
Yeah.
oh, for sure. We
Yes.
also include a cultural immersion with that, and it's always on our Epicurean expeditions, always themed around some sort of gastronomic event, whether it's cooking, making paella together ashore, whether it's visiting a vineyard and doing wine tasting, those types of really very special, unique events that is kind of a one-off that involves everyone on board the ship, even though it's a it's a small ship, so it's a decent group, but it's something that's unique and different, and that's included in the voyage as well to make things special. So no two cruises are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been a really, really great experience. The people are very excited to see what's
Hmm.
coming and what are, who our guest chefs are going to be, what the focus is. And generally speaking, we try and theme it obviously to where we're visiting. If we're in Greece, it'll be more of a Greek focus, and French, obviously, or Italian, you name it. We try and kind of incorporate all of that as well. So that's been really popular for on the
Hmm.
Epicurean side. And then we have cultural expeditions, which we just announced, and we're actually launching for this coming season.
Hmm.
Those are for destinations that maybe aren't necessarily known for their gastronomic or their culinary elements. Not that they don't have great culinary options, but places like Northern Europe, when we do our transatlantic cruises, when we come over to the Caribbean or South America, there's more of a focus on culture and history, folklore, those types of things. So we actually have increased our programming there. We're bringing on guests that will come on and talk about the area. We will include food and wine when we can, if appropriate for the region.
Hmm.
And again, we're including a lot of cultural immersions because both Epicurean and cultural expeditions tend to be in warmer waters, depending on the itinerary.
Hmm.
When available, based on the port that we're in or the destination we're visiting, we also try and launch our zodiacs and or have our water toys there. So we have kayaks, both tandem and single, and we have stand-up paddle boards and that type of thing that are included in those as well.
Well, that's fun. That would be neat
No,
to
it's
do in that
awesome.
area. Yeah, neat.
um, we are an all-inclusive cruise line as well. We
Okay.
want to make sure that everyone understands that when you come on board, we really don't want you to have to think about doing anything other than
Hmm.
enjoying yourself and immersing yourself in the destination itself. So I won't go through and read everything to you that you see
Right.
on the screen, but
But it's a lot of
um,
free. It's a lot
lots of
included.
stuff
That's
that are
great.
included, right? So the main points, obviously, all of your food and beverage included, including your alcoholic beverages. Your gratuities are included.
Hmm.
There's a cultural immersion on every single voyage, one per cruise that's included as well.
Yeah. Oh, I seem to have
Um,
lost you there.
I
I
don't
don't
know where
see you
we
anymore.
I don't see me either. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, interesting. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. Um, but everything is included there in that you see on the screen, including our high tea and our free L'Occitane bath amenities that are in each of our staterooms. We actually work with L'Occitane for our sea spa as well.
Hmm.
And oh, I'm back! Yay! And
Technology.
when you, I know you can't live with it, can't live without it.
That's right.
um, on our different destinations as well.
Hmm.
Depending on where we go, there are additional inclusions. So I'll kind of
Okay.
mention those as we walk through them. But
Great.
cultural expeditions, which I mentioned, are generally speaking South America, the Caribbean, transoceanic, as well as Northern Europe.
Mhm.
Again, we include that cultural immersion and enrichment programs on board as well. There's also our Jasper Grill dining experience and our alternative outdoor restaurant called Seven Aft,
Mhm.
appropriately named because it's on deck seven aft. um,
Perfect. You
but
won't miss, you
but
won't get lost on finding that one.
think of a very casual, laid back atmosphere, seated around the pool area, but
Mhm.
an upscale a la carte steakhouse, and that's all included as well.
That's great.
Um, we give everyone a great little backpack as well. It's not that little, actually. It's a really great a piece that everyone gets on our cultural immersions. And then again, use of the marina water toys, depending on the location and the
Mhm.
weather, obviously, as well.
Yes.
For our polar expeditions, included in all of our cruise packages, we include private chartered jet service from Buenos Aires down to Ushuaia, Argentina. We
Oh,
realize that getting to Ushuaia can sometimes be a little tricky. So as
yes.
long as you can get yourself round trip to Buenos Aires, we actually include a one night free hotel as
Oh,
well as a private chartered jet service and all your transfers. And that's automatically included, as well as a cultural immersion to Tierra del Fuego, which is awesome.
mhm.
And then, of course, your cruise. And while you're on board the expedition, all of your fully guided expeditions in the Zodiac, and you'll see the picture down there with the Zodiac and
Mhm.
everyone in green, that is all fully included. If you want to do some optional shore excursions like kayaking and paddleboarding, you can sign up for those. Those have to be guided due to safety purposes in the area, obviously.
Mhm.
So those can be extra, as well as camping overnight on the ice is also additional, but we do offer some of those. But all of your fully guided ice cruises and landings on your expedition are included in the price. And also those bright green jackets that you see there, we actually include those parkas for you to keep.
Oh,
There's a little zip out vest as well. It's really cool, but you don't have to worry about packing your big heavy coat. And we'll provide these for you on board, as well as use of knee boots, rubber knee boots that come up to your knees, and binoculars and walking sticks and all of that that you might need for your trek through the ice.
awesome. So
We
everything
provide
is
that.
ready for you. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have a packing list too. We realize that a lot of people haven't experienced this before, so we do provide a packing list to kind of layer. I mean, the name of the game is always layers, because it
Yes.
can be bright and sunny one minute and then snowing or
Hmm.
raining the next minute. And it really does kind of change that quickly.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
layering is definitely the way to go there.
Hmm.
But it's really an amazing experience there. And then for those who dare to do the polar plunge, we actually offer that off the side of the ship. We actually wrap a rope around you, and if you want to jump off of the platform, that you
Hmm.
actually board the Zodiacs into the ice cold water, and we'll pull you back up.
Oh,
You get a
goodness.
certificate saying that you've done it.
That
But
you did it. Wow. I know
yeah.
my husband would do it. He, in Southern Ontario, every January 1st, we have a polar dip where you go and you jump in Lake Ontario and you go around the icebergs or the ice. And I'm like, nope, I'll come take a
Wow.
picture and I'm keeping warm. So I know people who would do it. I
Oh
personally
yeah.
probably wouldn't, but I think that that's a great opportunity that you do provide it because people do
Yeah, for
like that
sure.
weird
You
stuff.
get a
Yeah,
certificate when you come back, and
awesome.
it's
Get
yeah,
a hot
I think it's
chocolate.
funny that they pull you up with that rope really fast, although you don't really need to do it because you try and get out as fast as you can.
Right.
I did it in the Arctic. I didn't
Oh,
do it in
wow.
Antarctica. I should have done it in Antarctica, but I was made fun of by everyone because I didn't do it in Antarctica. So I did it in the Arctic, and it was cold. I got to say, it was
Yeah.
cold. But yeah, they give you actually a shot of sherry as soon or brandy as soon as you get
Okay.
back on board the ship if you
Yeah.
want, or there's hot tea or hot
Uh,
chocolate there
Yes.
available too.
Awesome.
But yeah, it'll warm you up pretty quickly when you get
That's
back on
great.
board.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And not even if you're going to do it, but to go and watch others do it. Like it's still
Oh,
a lot of fun.
absolutely.
So,
And it's again such a small environment and ship on board that everybody is watching you. People can look from their balconies, and they
right.
can
And you
actually
get the
see it all
applause when you do
happening.
it.
Oh yeah. And we have an
Amazing.
expedition team member stationed in the Zodiac, so we're getting pictures of everyone as they jump in. So you'll get your photo and all of that as well, which
Oh,
is
that's
pretty cool.
incredible.
Yeah. And then we've got our Epicurean expeditions. Again,
Mhm.
we include that culinary experience both ashore as well as on board when we can. And again, those two cruises are alike depending on our itineraries. You'll
Yeah.
get to do visits to the market with the guest chef, specialty tastings,
Mhm.
visits to wineries when they're available, and all of that culinary, all the culinary presentations that we do on board, of course, and cooking demonstrations are completely included with the yachtsman cook-off and all of the tasting experiences.
Mhm.
You also get a backpack as well, and then of course the free Jasper Grill dining experience at Seven Apps is included.
Mhm.
And when the weather is available, and depending on the port, again the use of the marina water toys. So, but yeah, it's a really amazing experience. People absolutely love the culinary take on the different ports of
Mhm.
call. Most of our shore excursions are geared. You have obviously a wide array of choices when you're shoreside, but a lot of them do focus on the culinary aspect of things and visiting vineyards and wineries. We've got more adventurous stuff. We've got biking and hiking tours
Yeah.
and those types of things as well,
Mhm.
but we do try to really focus on that culinary aspect.
Yeah, and I think that's great that you said no two port stops are the same. So you're really exploring the areas, through taste as well as, making
Yeah,
the food and doing all that. And I think that that's fabulous. Like, what a great way to experience it. And then you go home with all these recipes, right? And then you can have people
exactly.
coming over and you can say, oh, I just whipped that up when I was in the med. You can do that kind of thing, right?
Exactly,
And then you end
exactly.
up, talking about your travels, which is such a great thing to talk about with
Oh,
people.
for sure. And when you're on board the yacht as well, the guest chef and the gastronomic guests that we have on board intermingle with the guests throughout the voyage. I mean, you can walk up to them and have conversations with them, ask them questions. They obviously do a lot of demos and that type of thing and
Mm-hmm.
tastings, but they're also there throughout the voyage. They'll sit down and have a drink with you or share a meal with you and answer questions. And again, they share the recipes and that kind of thing too.
Oh,
So
that's fabulous.
yeah, it gives it a lot of personality. And like I said, each cruise is a little bit different because we do have different guest chefs that come on and different regions and different focuses. So it's been really, really great to see how well received everything has been.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of our value proposition as a newer cruise line out there, and again, new to the expedition market, is really three main pillars that we like to talk about. And one obviously is the destination focus, since that is what we focus on, and our main drive is where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
We do try when we're not in the polar regions, those repeat. There's not a whole lot of different things that you can do in those regions, although in the Arctic, we do combine going up to Norway and Svalbard area with Iceland and Greenland as well. In Antarctica, everything pretty much is round trip Ushuaia, although we have introduced some new fly the Drake options, where if people don't want to sail across the Drake Passage, that they have the option to fly. And then we have some fly sail, where people who want to do a little bit of both have that opportunity as well. But we also focus on our itineraries. We try not to repeat itineraries where we can. We try to do different things. A lot of people we have found like to do back-to-back voyages as well. So we tend to not repeat ports very often. So it makes it very exciting, and you get to see a lot of really cool and new different things there as well. And again, we try to visit some popular ports, but for the most part, we're trying to hit some kind of off the beaten path, smaller destinations that other large vessels can't get into.
Great.
Of course, one of our most proud moments is, when we introduce our yachts to people. Our yachts are very well appointed. They're beautifully decorated. They're very comfortable. The majority of our staterooms are balcony, and we also have what we call a horizon balcony, which is kind of like a Juliet balcony. Instead of a traditional balcony with a table and chairs, we also have the option of the drop down window.
Okay.
Which is really exciting. A lot of people prefer that option too. We've got 10 suites on board of different sizes. Our largest suite is about 465 square feet.
Oh, beautiful.
Our average size stateroom is about 270 square feet. So it's a nice size. And again, we really pride ourselves on our ships, but also I think our biggest selling point, once you've been on board, people walk away with saying, I absolutely love your crew, and the service is amazing. It's not stuffy, it's not overly formal, it is definitely approachable and warm and friendly. And because it's so small, our crew get to know our guests, and they know your name, they know where you're from, they know your preferences, and so people really love that and really want to come back, and I think it does feel like home for them when they come back to visit as well. So, but those are our three main points of interest in our value proposition. In terms of our staterooms, this is just kind of an image of one of our balcony staterooms. You can see you've got the sliding glass doors there and the table and chairs out on the balcony. For the horizon staterooms that I mentioned before, it's the same size, but instead of that balcony, we've replaced the balcony with a floor to ceiling window. So we incorporate that because the balcony size is 52 square feet.
Okay.
But if with the horizon staterooms, we actually incorporate that 52 square feet into the actual living space of the stateroom. So it's much larger. So you almost have a full living room to yourself.
Nice.
And you've got the drop down window, a little button by your bed so you can lower it whenever you'd like. So those are very popular. But that's
So
the
your whole
majority
room just becomes the ocean air balcony, and you get those gorgeous ocean breezes right in.
When you
Oh,
want
amazing.
it, right?
Yeah, that's
for
great.
Sure. But all of our staterooms are well appointed. Like I said, we have 10 suites on board, but they all include a mini bar or a little mini fridge that is stocked to your preferences every day.
Hmm.
So it's personalized for you. Obviously, there's 24-hour room service. There's an espresso coffee
Beautiful.
maker with specialty teas there. You've got your nice plush robe and your slippers. We have L'Occitane bath amenities, but my favorite thing, I think, is the bathrooms. And I know this sounds
Oh,
funny, and I
no,
don't want to
no, it's not.
exclude
A lot of
men.
people ask me, well, what are the bathrooms like? Are they marble? Do they have double sinks? Yeah, it's just it's people like bathrooms are just so pampering, right?
So our bathrooms, no matter what stateroom category,
Hmm.
they all have these amazing features. Floor to ceiling marble bathrooms. The
Ooh.
showers are incredible. So not only do you have a handheld shower, you have a
Hmm.
rain shower. You also have jets in the back and a little seats as well. So it's a very spa-like experience, no
Yeah.
matter what category you're in.
Hmm.
And of course, all of your pampering with your L'Occitane, that stuff smells so good.
Yes, it
um,
would. Yeah.
but it's a really great experience
And I'd
on board.
love
It's
that,
not
like
your
after a
typical.
full day of hiking too, right? Like, you're exploring, and
Exactly.
sometimes when you're walking on some of the ice, you're using different muscles and you're a little sore. So those showers sound
Exactly.
like they would hit just every spot wonderful.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
For
I love
sure.
it.
It's an awesome experience on board.
Hmm.
It is kind of it's not your typical cruise ship bathroom. Let me just put it that way.
Right.
And I mentioned we have our suites as well. With our suites comes butler service. So if you really
Mhm.
want to be pampered and spoiled, your butler is there on hand to help you with anything, packing,
Right.
unpacking, booking shore excursions for you if you
Mhm.
need them to. Obviously, arranging for anything that you really truly need with personalized service. You can also have in-room dining there, so you can have full meals in your suites as well. So there's a lot to offer, I think,
Yeah.
on board in terms of that personalized service there with our butlers and our suites.
Mhm.
And then I thought I'd just show you a few pictures. Pretty pictures always say it better than I
Uh,
can, I think, of some of our public spaces. So what you're seeing now is the Atlas Lounge. And again, depending on the ship, the colors may be a little different. Our
yeah.
carpets and the tapestry colors are
Mhm.
a little different, have different themes. But we all have the main staples. So our Atlas Lounge is on deck four, and on deck four is pretty much where all the action happens. Our main dining room is there, our theater is there, our Atlas Lounge is here, our Paula's Pantry, our gym, everything is on this one level. The Atlas Lounge is a great gathering spot. It's where we have a bar there, but we also have kind of an open lounge. It's a nice quiet area, usually when we're at sea. There's a little library there. We do have a pianist on board and vocalists that are on board as well. Um, we have kind of a captain's reception in here, although it's a very casual experience. There's
Mhm.
no formal nights on board. We want everyone to kind of come as they are,
Right.
especially in an expedition experience. People are dressed in layers and we want them to
Mhm.
be comfortable. So
Good.
there's no
Yeah.
need to dress, but we still want you to feel welcomed there. So the
Mhm.
Atlas Lounge is a nice gathering spot for that as well. Our other main lounge that we have is the Dome Observation Lounge. It's all the way forward on deck seven. It's actually one level above the bridge.
Okay.
It has 270-degree views, floor to ceiling windows there. Gets its name from the skylight there up at the top. You can't really see it too well in this picture, but
Mhm.
during the day, again, a nice quiet nook, a nice place for people to go for scenic cruising purposes. But in the evening, it gets pretty lively. This is where we have any of our cabaret style entertainment here.
Okay.
We don't have big Broadway shows, but we
Mhm.
do usually have feature some vocalists. We do have music. We do have some name that tune and some fun trivia games that we'll do sometimes up in the Dome Lounge as well.
Nice.
And we have music and we have a dance floor. So it
Mhm.
can get lively depending on the itinerary as well. So this is a really great spot.
Amazing.
Um, this is Paula's Pantry, which is kind of our grab and go. So we do have a main restaurant on board that I'll show you in just a minute. But Paula's Pantry is just kind of our specialty tea and coffee shop. We also have little grab and go breakfast pastries. We'll have sandwiches throughout the day, fresh baked cookies. little snacks. So if you don't want a full sit-down meal, but you
Right.
want something to hold you over, it's
Uh-huh.
a great place to go. We make smoothies and that type of thing here as well too. So it's a nice, and again, another gathering spot. You'll find that on our ships, people just stop and chit chat and share experiences or talk about what's coming for the day.
Hmm.
So this is a place where people really like to stop and
Yeah.
gather.
And you could probably feel the buzz in there too if people are
Oh
talking
yeah.
about what are we going to do tomorrow, and they're just so excited, right? That's amazing.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think too, especially for polar expeditions, because so
Hmm.
much of it is predicated on weather. And so every day you may be stopping somewhere completely different than originally planned based on
Hmm.
captain's choice. So people will stop and say, "Oh, did you see the pod of whales?" And they'll tell you, "Oh, well, on our zodiac we saw, this type of penguin, or we saw this type of
Oh,
seal." It's really
amazing.
awesome. So
Oh, that sounds
yeah.
fabulous. Goodness.
This is an image of one of our main restaurants on one of our ships. We do have a main restaurant, so depending on the weather, so when we're in our polar regions, this is where the majority of the meals are going to take place. We
Okay.
have a lot of al fresco dining spaces,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, they can't be utilized when the weather's not the greatest or when the weather's really cold.
Hmm.
So when you're on one of our warmer weather or warmer climate itineraries, then there's a lot of different dining options on board in terms of where you can sit. But our main dining room, we do change the menus every single day. We obviously have a classic fare for the
Hmm.
staples for what people want, but we do change our theme of our menu every day. We have, again, a focus on our culinary aspects of things. I'm very proud of our dining, and people absolutely love what our chefs have to offer, especially when we take it into the Med and have those guest chefs on board as well.
Oh, nice.
This is one of the alfresco dining areas. We've got a few of these on board. This one actually is just outside of our main dining room. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is served out here as well, which gives it a whole different feel.
Hmm.
Especially when you're pulling into the European port and just kind of overlooking the scenery there. It's a really nice kind of serene way to sit outside and dine, which is great.
Absolutely.
We do have a sea spa sponsored by L'Occitane, so all of the products there smell amazing. It is small, so we have two treatment rooms, a beautiful sauna,
Hmm.
and this relaxation room as well. And so we offer facials and massages there, so it is limited, but it books up
It
very
would.
quickly because people absolutely love it, and they love the views there, and they love to really be pampered in between their outings and their expeditions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Make sure that you book that in advance as early as you can because you want to be able to get into the spa.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for
amazing.
sure. And then we have a small fitness studio on board.
Mhm.
So again, we're a small vessel, not a huge ship, but we do have lots of free weights. We've got a couple of machines, and then
Mm.
up on deck 8 outside, we have a jogging track. I believe
Beautiful.
14 times around is a mile.
Okay.
um, but great views up there. We also have
Mhm.
more stationary workout equipment there. I believe there's 4 or 6 different stations where you have your own self workout up on deck as well. So if you're outside and want to get some fresh air and some exercise, there's more options than just our fitness studio, which is
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
And then we have our presentation theater. It's also on deck 4 all the way forward. This is where any of our guest lecturers would speak for Antarctica and the Arctic. Our expedition team present here all the time. There's some mandatory safety and expedition presentations that you have to attend in order to actually visit this area of the world.
Mhm.
And then there's also a ton of different expedition related type of presentations that we do. So our expedition team members have varied backgrounds. They are experts in marine biology, naturalists. We have ornithologists that study birds, geologists that study the land.
Mhm.
We've got expert photographers that are part of our expedition team will actually give workshops on board to talk about the best ways to capture the best photos while you're on your expedition.
I
We
like
talk
that because I
about,
really enjoy my DSLR. I know a lot of people are like, oh, just grab the iPhone, but there's something with that zoom lens that just gets things so nice and crisp, right? And
oh,
it's
for
good to
sure.
have a professional there that can help guide you and you get those once in a lifetime shots too.
And our photographers will they love it when people come on with their cameras and they
Hmm.
get really into it. But then they also, for me, who just comes on with the iPhone,
Yeah.
actually gives us tips and tricks on how to actually do the light balance and that type of thing. Because in Antarctica, there's a lot of white on white, especially if the sun's shining. So
Hmm.
tell you how to take the best pictures and give you
Oh,
tips
good.
even for your phone. So it's a really cool
Hmm.
way to kind of learn about how to capture the moment. And again, our expedition team really makes the cruise. It's a really unique experience. They're throughout the ship. There's anywhere from 12 to 18 of them, depending on the sailing. So you will run into them all the time. They not only are expert guides, but they're your Zodiac drivers as well. They are very knowledgeable about the region and will interact with you throughout the voyage as well. You can have a meal with them. You can have a drink with them. You can see them in the hallway. You'll get to know them, which really makes it a very special experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And that's again another perk of yacht cruising, right? The small ships.
Oh, for
Because you
sure.
can
Yeah,
bump into those people much more frequently than you would when you're on a ship
absolutely.
with 7,000 of your best friends. So
Yeah.
I just love small ships. So,
I
yeah.
agree. It's really addicting. If you've never really sailed on a small ship before, it's hard to go back to the really big ones
I
after that
agree. Yes,
to
the
get
first time, a
boredom.
little story about that. The first time we were going to go on a small ship, my husband's like, I don't know. I really like all the activities of the big one. I'm like, I think you and I are going to have a problem because I'm going to love it. And then we ended up going, and now it's just like, okay, so let's just book another small ship. And it's just
Yeah,
something that he loved so much more. He did not miss those activity ones, like the flow riders and
yeah,
rock climbing walls, because you're
yeah,
going to go and do that on the actual water and on the,
yeah.
by using your stand-up paddle boards and your kayaks, you're going to go and get a much more immersive experience and
Sure.
enjoying the area that you're visiting. So
And
it's perfect.
there's a
Yeah,
there's a market for that, and it's
yeah,
okay to like both.
it is
Depending on who you're
absolutely.
going with, what type of experience you're looking to have, and
There's a cruise for everyone.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And sometimes it's it really kind of depends on the situation, the destination, who you're with, all
Mhm.
of that. But I agree. It's whenever I've been on a larger ship, I'm like, oh, I really miss that whole
Yeah,
small
the
ship
intimate.
feel and
Yeah,
experience.
I
Yeah,
agree.
for sure.
Yes.
And then up on deck seven, we have our pool, and we have this is actually World Traveler has one hot tub, and World Navigator has two. It's still a little bit different layout, but basically the same. But we do
Yeah.
have that available.
Nice.
Generally speaking, this is obviously only open in warm water destinations or warmer destinations.
Mhm.
Although we do try to keep the hot tubs open, especially right after the polar plunge has taken place,
Yeah. Oh,
so
yes,
that
to warm
people
up your
can
core. Hmm.
so people can run upstairs and hop in and get warm as well. But it's a really great area depending on the weather outside. Sometimes we do our yachtsman cook-offs in the Mediterranean here out on deck and keep it kind of
Hmm.
fun and lively, or do some of our tastings outdoors when we
Oh,
can. Sometimes we do
nice.
them in the dining room, sometimes we do them in the Atlas Lounge, sometimes we do them out on deck. It really just kind of depends, and sometimes we mix it up so that
Mhm.
it's a little bit different venue every time. But yeah, no, it's an awesome experience, and
Mhm.
I, just kind of wanted to share some pictures with you and kind of give you an idea of what Atlas was all about, just as a kind of a brand overview for you.
Oh, that's amazing. I greatly appreciate you putting that together. That's just fabulous. And I think next time that we meet, we'll dive right into a destination, to an itinerary. And I'm excited to do that too. But that was an incredible brand overview. I can't thank you enough for taking your time and putting that all together. So thank you again. And I hope everybody has a great week. And we'll see you guys all next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Awesome.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's cruise chat. It was really nice to meet with Kathy for the very first time to go over that great brand overview and just to learn more about Ocean Atlas Voyages. I love small ship cruising, as you guys know, and it was just so fabulous just to see the destinations they go to talk about their specially themed cruising, and just to have a good, great Brando work for the first time that I've had the chance to meet with her. Next week, I'm going to be coming out with another episode with another cruise line, and it is going to be so exciting. I just love meeting with all these different cruises, and I love bringing them all to you guys. This way, you can all make an informed decision on what cruise line is best for you. Give me a call anytime, send me an email, info@plentyofsunshinetravel.com, and I would be honored to help you find the perfect cruise for you. So if you guys enjoyed this week's cruise chat, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit that share button. You guys know what to do, but we'll see you guys next week or on board. Bye for now.